I tell people when you open a business, you're going to encounter two types of people. The ones who would come because they're really, really sincerely happy for you and they want to patronize you. And the ones who will come to see what you're doing so they can go replicate. So your competitors are most likely the first 10 people you're going to have in your business. Most of the time, people do what is not necessary. People are just all over the place. They want to be everything to everyone. You cannot be a saver, a strong woman. I have moments that I cry. I have a moment that I self-doubt myself. I have a moment that sometimes I feel like I'm not enough and all of that. But the truth is, you also ask yourself, when you come out to cry, how many people genuinely will love you enough to say, oh, come, let's cover you, or let's say, oh, what was making you cry and all of that.
Welcome to Voices with Victoria, the place where you gain practical wisdom and inspiration to transform your life, one voice at a time. Let's dive deep into real stories of everyday heroes, sharing insights that spark personal growth, career advancement, and business success. Make sure you subscribe and be part of the movement.
Hello, Happy New Year. Yes, I know it's March, but this is the first video for Voices of Victoria for the year 2025, and I'm so excited and delighted to share the beauty of this work with you because I have a special guest in the studio today. I'm looking at her and I'm just blushing because she's so beautiful. I call her my big sis, my mama, and I'm just going to be doing and reading her official, just a very brief bio of who she is. She is Ifiok Akan, a multiple award-winning fashion entrepreneur. She is the best-selling author, real estate broker, humanitarian, speaker, mentor, and lifestyle coach. She is, guess who? The CEO and creative director of House of Borah in Nigeria, and she has built a successful fashion business for over 12 years. She's a wife and mother of absolutely amazing 4 children. Drum rolls, please. I say welcome my guest for today, the House of Borah.
Victoria, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I take all of that in. Yeah. I'm totally humbled and honored.
Thank you for being here and saying yes. And you look dashing. I think this is where they say cut so funny because literally you need to cut so funny.
Anyway, I usually so much
conversation. So the conversation here is just going to be a very simple one. I've heard you speak. I've seen your life as it is inspiring. But we want to now hear you speak. We want you to share your story with us. Take us on a journey as much as you are free to. For everybody that exists, they were coming from somewhere.
Absolutely.
So we want to know your before and what led to your now. Right? We want to talk about your business just to encourage other entrepreneurs as well to pick, maybe be inspired, motivated, or pick 1 or 2 insights for their own businesses.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to driving this conversation with you.
Thank you.
But like I always say, first of all, introductions. I know I did a very brief introduction, but I want you to also introduce yourself to us. Who is the House of Borah? Ifiok Akan.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Okay, so my name is Ifiok Akan, the creative director of House of Borah. House of Borah is a brand that has been in existence since 2013. Ifiok is a mother of 4, like she said. Ifiok is a lover of God. Ifiok is an easygoing woman who believes in herself. Ifiok is that woman who will be there for you if you're willing and able to be yourself. So she's a girl that grew up in the city of Aba, Abia State. So I think I can just dive into the conversation already. And I grew up in Aba, Abia State, Obo Hill to be precise. I said that in my book. Growing up it's always been me, that young girl who has always believed in herself, and that young girl who is very hardworking, and that young girl who grew up in an environment where people were willing not to just conform. People were willing not to just be mediocres. And so growing up in the city of Aba was a huge inspiration for me. It was a huge motivation to making me to becoming the woman I am today. So I think growing up also, I've always had passion for fashion. So yes, I've always been that girl, in secondary school who, fine girl, looking good, best dress and all of that. So I knew somehow that was tilting towards fashion. Because I remember when I finished my secondary school, that's time that you wait to write your JAM. People would go for lesson classes and all of that. So there's this uncle of mine who was a tailor at a time. So I would sneak into his tailoring factory to learn how to put together needles and threads. And somehow I think it was just God taking me to to my purpose. However, my parents didn't need to be a lawyer. They wanted me to be more. So I had to go through the university to not study law. However, I did policy studies and administration. And here I am today. So
Okay, I like that we're able to transition from that. That was a very solid introduction. I hear a lot of things, but I'd like to know, so what now switched from a policy administrator and all of that? Did you at any point in the undergraduate days pursue your love for fashion? And how did you fully launch into fashion?
okay, so in the beginning, for anybody who has known me in the university, I used to sell, if I'd call any fashion accessories, if you was there, I would go to Balogun Market to buy sunglasses and wristwatches. I used to sell fashion pieces. I collect clothes. People would call me when they want to do vow packages and all of that. So I've always been around. I've always known that I will be around the fashion industry because I love to see people look good. I think fashion tells a story. It tells a story of who you are. It tells a story of how you want to be seen and perceived. So, being able to always be there for my friend to help them source one or two things was also like me being in the part of where I am today. So I think it has always been there. I've always known.
So we're going to hold a thought on that for a moment. We'll come back to fashion. We'll come back to the business of fashion and the House of Borah brand. But again, this is the International Women's Day month, all right? Whenever anybody's going to watch that, this conversation is very important because it could have also been had regardless of the celebration. And we hear this opinion or slang of women supporting women, and that's on one time. And then we also have the other conversation that says, I'm trying to remember, there's this pidgin word, permit me for a non-Nigerian audience, that says, now woman, they do woman. Something like that, like, that says that women are jealous, women don't support, women don't uplift, women gatekeep, and all of that. What do you think about, first of all, what do you believe about women supporting people?
So I think for me, it's not a one size fits all approach. For me, I've been supported by really amazing women. I've had women propel me, most women propel me to becoming the woman I am today. However, I think sometimes, because we are a bunch of emotions, so we don't know where, it's just a fine line. A woman can support you and not support you almost at the same time. Yeah, so for women supporting women, well, I believe women actually support women. It may not be all women. You can say all women don't support, women, or some women don't support women. But I think women are also sometimes, we are our greatest problem. We are our greatest, rivalry. We are sometimes our greatest critic. But you don't see men say most of these things. So that's why sometimes I don't like us to have those kind of conversations. So it doesn't look like a stereotype to us and all of that. But I think women sincerely do support women. Like for me, I support women genuinely and sincerely. And I've also had women who have actually really been there for me. So I believe women support women. Yeah, there are some, some futy ones or some decayed ones and all of that. So we can't use that to judge.
Secure. And I mean, as with every gender, even the men, even the men, they kill themselves. And they do even the worst, they kill themselves.
They don't even like to see themselves grow. So when I was growing up, myself and my brother, when we're going back to school, I would tell my parents to give my brother more money because no man was ever going to give him. In fact, if a man and a woman goes to seek for a favor, you find out that most times men will support women more. Well, so men don't even so themselves. They'll be like, you're a young man, go and hustle now, go and hustle. But for a woman, they'll say, okay, she's a fine girl, and sometimes it can be persuasive, and you say, please, we need this and all of that. So I think it's both ways. So, but everything depends on what happens to you and how your experiences are also able to shape who you are. However, it's not, like I said, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
I love how holistic you are about it. If this question was thrown at me, I'll be like, no, it's this way, but you were able to, Daniel, touch it, gives us a balance to you about this conversation. So thank you very much. I also want to talk about audacity because you're one woman who is audacious. I see it with the way you produce things, with the way you look, and there's this element of audacity. And I want you to talk on audacity, actually for your people who are listening here today and just want to drive things, whether in business or in their career.
Okay, so for me, audacity is that's confidence, that strength that you have on the inside out. Knowing that, like I said, no one is you, and that's your superpower. You can always be, you can always become, and you can always face whatever it is that life throws at you. So sometimes people have this very limiting belief and think very lowly of themselves. I also would, sometimes judge their upbringings. It could be your belief system, it could be your values. However, I think an audacious woman embodies grace. There's something that comes with grace. Grace allows you to be, allows you to become, allows you to do, and allows you to know that you're not everything and you're also something. So when you understand that, you're able to balance life and know that you can also become and allow people to become. So audacious people, like I said previously, they're very confident people and they believe in their strength, they believe in their abilities, and they go all out for it. I'm one woman who, when I believe in a thing, in fact, sometimes I think is an extreme strength because people will say it is a weakness. No, when I love, I love.
Yeah.
I love when I make excuses. When I'm just in, I'm in. So, and I think that's a quality of an audacious woman, which I highly recommend. Please become that.
Absolutely. You mentioned about belief. Did you always know that House of Borah, when you started, would be this hated brand that we know today?
Somehow, because I also said I'm somebody who I have this high level of belief in myself. And when I started House of Borah in the city of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, I remember those years people used to take tailoring to, fashion designing to be just tailoring, having one machine. Sometimes they don't brand it and all of that. During the BB days, for people who used to follow me then, they will see me do House of Borah coming soon and all of that. People were like, what is this? Now, first off, the name House of Borah came from the likes of House of Stars, and I also had a friend then whose brand was House of Millennial thereabout. So I needed to brand it. So I think I knew that something. I knew that there was something about House of Brothers that actually distinguishes it from a lot of the fashion brand because I gave it my all. When I came on social media wasn't a place that anybody wanted to be. In fact, I was judged. I was called many names. As a married woman on social media, every day you're posting your clothes, every day more or less like you're appearing elegant and some people will say attractive and all of that. And then my personal page used to be titled or used to be named Sexy Queen B. So I'm like a young person then. So I was younger then. So at one day I woke up and I said I was changing it to I am Ifiok Akan, so it comes from that place of growth. So yeah, I knew because I gave House of Borah, because I gave House of Borah my best at the time, I knew it was going to be whatever it is that it is, today. Because there's something about excellence. Once you give your best to something, even the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. It stands you out, so you always stand out. So I gave it my best.
I'm liking this conversation. I'm liking it. But now, you look all put together. You look like, in fact, when you started your introduction, you've always been a high achiever, a go-getter, audacious woman, like somebody who knew what she wanted, knowing the end from the beginning, and all of those things.
Like a woman who sees the future.
Exactly. So you look like, you had everything going for you the way you want, and at every time. But has it always been this way? And is it always like that? Do you have struggles and obstacles?
Yes, please, I'm a human being. I have struggles. So I watched this video of Omotala, I think last week, where she was saying, yes, as a strong woman, I have moments that I cry. I have a moment that I self-doubt myself. I have a moment that sometimes I feel like I'm not enough and all of that. But the truth is, you also ask yourself, when you come out to cry, how many people genuinely will love you enough to say, oh, come, let's cover you, or let's say, oh, what was making you cry and all of that. You feel that sometimes it's very little number of persons. So when you're blessed to have a good family system, when you're blessed to have siblings, I advocate for sibling love. When you're blessed to have good people, genuine people around you, they will know your vulnerable time. In fact, my younger sisters call me Big Baby. Big Baby means she cries most of the times. Big baby means, my big sister, she will follow through a matter. She will talk and talk and talk about a particular thing. Big baby means my sister has her vulnerable times and moments. Yes, so and I also love to say that vulnerability is strength. So yes, I have those troubles. I've battled anxiety disorder because I'm a perfectionist. One of my friends will say, there's this word he uses, I've forgotten, something paralysis. Something paralysis. Is it upset? Analysis paralysis. I will keep analyzing and all of that. So I have those moments, and I have moments where, I was almost close to depression because I was carrying my pregnancies to run my brand. And at some point my water broke in the showroom and customers stressed all over the place. They would come and shout. And I had to navigate my way through all of that. So yes, Ifiok is not a perfect woman. I don't even advocate perfection. Just be you, just be real. People connect more with that.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a lot of questions from that one answer that you gave, but let's take it one at a time. you know, so for all of these moments, how do you navigate through them? Do you have principles or anchors, or sort of like what helps you? I know there are going to be different things for different situations, but generally, or if you can also make reference to any experience specifically that you've gone through and how you were able to overcome those.
Okay, so first, like I said, I recommend family units a lot. Everything I do is centered around that. When you're blessed to have good people in your home, nannies, they can come in form of nannies. Those are angels. They help you to take care of the things they need to take care of, whilst you also go about your life. So I tell people, trust people. I'm very big on trust. Trust is really, really, really underrated. When you trust people and trust God, and know that He just brought you to be a caretaker. The owner of those children. He is. So He's the one who knows them. He's the one who will plant love in the minds of those nannies, those sisters, those uncles, to also be good to them. Now, it doesn't also mean you shouldn't check as a mother. So what has really helped me is having that trust in the people that God has given to me, trusting that they will take care of my children and not hurt them. So even when I go out there, I still send those prayers to them. So I don't joke with that. So I think I would say I'll stand with trust. Then love on people. Love is given. Christ is even love. So people say love, and they don't do love in the actual sense of love. So when you love people, people know, they discern it, they feel it. Yeah, so you can come and pretend maybe you want to get something from someone and you fake love. It's just going to be short-lived.
Yeah.
So I recommend love also. And I said, trust love and believe that good things will come. Believe that whatever it is that you sow and they are good, you will reap. So that helps you not to also sow bad, because you know that once you sow bad waits for you. So I think those three principles has really what helps and worked for me. Yeah.
Amazing. Where's your faith in all of this? Are you a because I know that one of the side conversation we're having is that you're a woman, you're a baby girl of God, and all this that. Where does your faith come in on your journey, both for personal life and then in terms of your business as well?
Okay, so I'm a Catholic girl. So for anybody who is Catholic, you know that we don't joke with the fruit of the Spirit. So that's where my faith comes in. It comes from the principle that God has given to us already. I will walk by it, right? So when you hold on to that and trust it, it helps you to navigate your way through life.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's come back to that. You mentioned about being a pregnant woman and your water pregnant. I can't even begin to imagine. So on the day of your expected delivery date, you were in your factory and then dealing with customers and the whole frustration that comes with it. And that leads me to this question about motherhood. On your journey, we're going to start from the past. And then you take us through to now, how it is now, because I know you now have grown up children, or you still need to be present as a mother. How have you been able to balance all of these things in terms of showing up at the work front as the audacious, ambitious woman that you are, and then your other responsibility in terms of family, in terms of friends, and everything in between?
So sincerely, this question was asked. I was on a panel session sometime last week, and this same question, a lot of times people come at me with, how are you able to balance life as a mother and entrepreneur? I would say the grace of God. I don't underrate it. Please. Because if you ask Ifiok, how do you really do these things? Yes, I'm somebody who likes to journal. I like to write my itineraries. I'm somebody who likes to, I don't do what I'm not supposed to do. I'm not all over the place. I don't like to be all over the place. So sometimes I can turn down even invitations for my mental health. So I'm somebody who like to do the right thing at the right time. So when you understand the right time to do things, you would delegate. I also love to delegate. I don't like to be that boss that does it all alone and all by myself.
Very important.
Yeah, so I allow people to become, even in my workplace, I allow them to work. My business is also well structured in a way that I may not necessarily need to be there all the time, because I want my workers to also do what they are there to do. So that's on the side. Like I also previously mentioned, I have a good family unit where I have people who have actually lived with me for as long as my marriage and are still living with me. So, and they take on my journey as though it's theirs. And I'm also somebody who is really big on studying. So I love to give time to myself. I tell people that I highly recommend self-love. Give time to yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to do what you need to do at the right time and let go the things that are not necessary. So when you're able to balance those and do, like I said, what is necessary. A lot of times people do what is not necessary. People are just all over the place. They want to be everything to everyone. You cannot be a saver. Somebody said something. If you want to be, is it an alpha and omega or something? There is this word.
Like you want your Jehovah,
You're there. That was so profound. Because like, how you be everything. So just do what you can do, and let's undo the things you cannot, and that will really help with your life work balance.
We have this notion, especially in this part of the world, about superwoman. Has to be the idea that I'm happy it's changing now. A superwoman idea is pounding, having to, and I'm not saying that you can't show at those points, but you also need to have help, dedicate to business so that you can focus on the things that need to your the highest, production and the highest version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that's good. And you mentioned trust. And I want to move to this because this is a very important topic, especially for businesses, for business owners. We're talking about staffing now. I read in your book, and by the way, we're going to come to your book. Since I read in your book where you mentioned, some of the staff members, having to train them. These are people, even in terms of mentorship as well. So come to mentorship, let's address the staff problem. You teach them, you train them, you tell them some business secret because I mean they're working with you.
Yes.
And then they that go how ahead to start their own or they'll work with a competitor and sort of like share. Now, there are business owners, entrepreneurs who are looking to navigate staffing, team building and all that. What's your advice? What was that? Can you recall for us? Or how you advise people to go and read the book? Yeah, but I also tell them, I was going to say, you had to build a phone, and then how were you able to navigate? And what are the systems that you have created now that will help other business owners as well in their own?
Okay, so first, let's know that the country we live in is not even well structured. A lot of things happen in Nigeria and we get away with it. So when it trickles down to who we are and what we do, people have those excuses. After we're even living in a country that is not structured. So don't worry, even when you arrest them, Madam will come and yes, Madam will still come and release her or him. Okay, so my story was that of a staffer who sabotaged the brand and just still a woman. So, but I don't throw judgment on us. We're still, all of us, we're still a work in progress. A customer who came, will I say an enemy who came pretending to be a customer and eventually ended up, however he did to one of my staff members and they needed to replicate my business because that's what they tried doing. And he ran away with a lot of my customers and more or less like opened his own fashion brand and all of that. It was a lot. And when you're in the fashion business, you can wake up one day and all your tailors sack you.
So like they don't even sack them.
They will just wake up and sack you.
That's right.
And when they sack you, everybody should understand now. After all, Madam has, in quotes and unquotes, Madam has money. So they can wake up and make a mess of your business. And even when you want to arrest them and all of that, they will come crying and all of that. But it was really heartbreaking for me because that was the moment it was during festive period. For anybody who is a fashion designer, you know what, that season is for us. And you're waking up to see that one of your staff members has actually done a smart one on you. And that day I remember crying I cried so loud and I felt so bad. And because this is somebody who is almost like a pastor, talks about God all the time. When we come to the show and we pray. So I took him in as a brother, as everything. And he did that. When I went to his house to discover that, he didn't know I was coming. I just called him one early hours of the morning. So the woman rented an apartment for him. And he would come take my customer book, call some of my customers to say, so if we sold for $80, he will say, don't worry, we'll sell for you for 40, 60 at a time. So, and some people are also mean. I tell people when you open a business, you're going to encounter two types of people. The ones who would come because they're really, really sincerely happy for you and they want to patronize you. And the ones who will come to see what you're doing so they can go replicate. So your competitors are most likely the first 10 people you're going to have in your business. They will come, patronize you, look around. Oh, this is beautiful. So my friends would even come with their phones and snap my factory as if you're sneaking to snap and do those kind of things, and I'll just be looking at them. So in their head they think they're smart, but I'm watching you through the cameras and I'm seeing, maybe I'll run to my office and I'm seeing that you're using your phone to do videos and all of that. Then when I come by, you be like, this place is fine. So they eventually all almost opened fashion houses and all of that. So I'm not going to go into those details. So when I called him and I said I was coming to his house, he was surprised. He said, Mama, don't worry, I'm coming to this. I said, don't worry, where are you? He said, where? So I said, I'm around your street, because we used to drop him off somewhere. He would just say, let me hide night share and go. So when I went into that place, I came and he was surprised. He opened it. I saw machines. I saw my measurements book. I saw my costume.
Not quickly hide.
He couldn't. Not it was here. He couldn't. He didn't know I was coming. And I think not even I think, it was just the Holy Spirit guiding me there. And he knelt down, he was crying, he pleaded and all of that. But, that was also a moment in my business, and I'm happy that did not swallow us up. We're still here strong and standing. What am I saying? You will encounter this thing, especially in a country like Nigeria, a country that's a snake will wake up and swallow something and nobody cares about it. So people will think that after it's not even a structured system, so we can always get away. It's there.
The system.
Yeah, so I think you just learn the lessons and you have to keep going.
So what are some of the measures that you've put in place now to, sort of like guide the business 8 years? I know that there's no business that's 100%.
It can never be
proof. But, in terms of staffing, in terms of structure and system in the business, what have you done?
So what I now do is when I'm hiring, because before I used to do friends and family come and I do my personal interviews. So, but now there are agencies that are there. I mentioned them in my book. I recommended them that you can go to for them to help give you good staffs. Then you also give them good incentives. Make sure you pay their salaries on time, and make sure you make them to find their dream in what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you find your dream in what I'm doing, it's easy for you to stay through. It means somehow you're looking at also really becoming a designer tomorrow. So you're learning the rules while you're looking at what you're going to be. So that way they do it with love. Employ people who are passionate about what you do, passionate about what they also are willing to do for you. So I think that has also really helped me. That has kept, because there was also a time I paid this agency, from Lagos. I won't mention their names. So much money to come help structure my brand. And it was a mess. They didn't do anything at all. And I contacted my friend and he recommended some other company that is even residential in New York, and they did an amazing job. So I mentioned them in my book and I recommend them. So I think once you find people who can see their dreams in what you're doing, it makes a lot of sense.
So what I hear
you put those structures in place.
Yeah, what I hear you say is that there's no business that hasn't had its up and downs. You definitely have challenges both internally, externally, but the most important thing is trying to put your head above the water. So this is just a pointer to anybody who is starting a business or is already in the business and you're feeling like everything has come crashing. I mean, her staff fired her. Oh, they sacked her.
Absolutely.
At the point where she needed them the most, at the critical point of her business. But she was still able to move from there. So regardless of where you are, you can move from that. And you mentioned Uyo. How has it been like? Because I'm quite I just say I want to hear this one. I don't know if you give a political answer. Well, let me share you. What has it been like doing business in Uyo in Akwa Ibom State? We know generally we complain about Nigeria as a whole. Then meeting it down to Uyo, how has it been for you?
I think I would say a bit limiting. To say the truth, a bit limiting, because you see, you find yourself, in a city where, I don't know, I think a lot of us just don't want to be and do more. Though it's not looking bad now. At least I've encountered a lot of people who are also more or less like breaking out from that place of fear to becoming more. But when I started my business, it was worse. It was a lot of judgment. In fact, at some point, I told my husband, I used to want to relocate because I don't think I'll be able to deal. There were lots of crap syndrome, people trying to pull people down, to try to, badmouth you, gossip you, hate on you, when you've done nothing to them. In fact, some of them don't even know you. They just hear, oh, House of Borah, oh, okay. Why am I taking money today and give to money? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And all of that. Yeah. Don't worry, the business will go down. Don't worry. Don't you know, so we had them, but I'm happy that it's looking good now, like I said. But when I said limiting, we don't really do collaboration in the actual sense of it here. We talk about collaboration, we talk about partnership, but see, everybody wants to stand alone to become. So you see a big brand that is supposed to be owned by people, like say 4 to 5 people coming together to maybe be equity partners or put together their intellectual properties to do something. No. So you want to stand alone to do something, that you're now pretending that you want to collaborate with people. So because you want to use them, more to say. So I think until we understand that big brands in Lagos and Abuja are not, they're not owned by, in fact, people just come, friends come together, put their money together and do big things. That way it's sustainable. That way it's something that is long lasting. But when you're standing alone to struggle, it's short lived because at some point you're going to drain, you're going to burn out. So I think that's where I say is a bit limiting. Like I said, it's also not looking bad. So at least we have good governments in place and people are also willing to understand, welfare, understand how to spread this money across to get into the hands of individuals and companies. So I think it's going to get better as we go.
I like
Hopefully so.
Yeah, I like that. So I also wanted to talk on how you were able to navigate that regardless of the location, because I know that location is one barrier that many entrepreneurs talk about. Oh, I'm in this place, I'm in the village and all of those things. Yes, I am of the opinion that you need to move if that location is not
Favoring you, absolutely.
but also there are some places you can thrive regardless, right? So do you want to speak on that?
Okay, so for me, like I said, is first believing. Then another thing is leveraging social media. Social media makes you global. When you're online, you never know. I tell you, you never know who is on the other side of the phone. You never know who is watching you. For all the awards I have received, I'm one person who is big on. I have never paid. In fact, when you want to give me an award and you start saying, come and appreciate us, I've turned up my phone. Or you will call and tell I will not pay. I will not pick. I believe awards should be given to people when it is merited. So for everyone that has reached out to me, loved on me, believed in me, is through social media. So even if you're in a situation, in a city or you're in a place where people don't believe in you, who says you cannot just find your corner where you see that there is belief and love and thrive there? Be around people who support you. Put your content out there. Sometimes you don't need a village, a whole village to create a content. It can just be in your room, in your house, go to a fine location now, wear clothes. Sometimes people pack. I remember when we started House of Borah now, when we go to Lagos, some of my friends, they will pack their clothes. Once they go to stay in a hotel, you see them wear 5 clothes, 10 clothes, from one location. They will just go to different dimensions to do that content. And they're intentional about putting it out. I am not even like doing a lot of social media lately, because my children are growing up and there's a lot of motherhood. But you still see me try to still show up there. Somehow, I cannot stay for a whole week. 1 week and not put something out there. So social media is also a tool that everyone should leverage on to project themselves and put whatever it is that they do, as long as it's something good out there. There is always someone somewhere watching.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere is watching. And you never know that person that will contact you and take yourself or your business to the next level. So I highly recommend.
I also recommend that as well. So regardless of your location, you can leverage on the digital media where regardless of where you are, you can even get clients abroad. I know that there's one of my friends here in New York. In fact, her major serving clients are not in New York.
Yes.
She is, selling to those in the UK, the US, Canada, outside even the world. Outside Nigeria. And, so don't allow your location sell as an excuse to limit your business operation. Just find a way to position yourself online. And we've come to the time where, such a beautiful woman. Let me gist you a bit about it. This book is In the Fabric of Fashion. And looking at it, you would think that it is
fashion. Yes.
I just got it because I'm like, okay, let me just civil skin through it. But you would not believe me when I say this, that from the very beginning, it wasn't just about fashion.
It was storytelling.
It was such a beautiful book, beyond fashion. So if you have any business, I think that you share I sent you a message, and this is a tool for advancement, both for personal growth and for business growth. So let's talk about this book briefly. First of all, what inspired you to write this book?
Okay, so it was 10 years of us being in business. So I remember sitting with my team members and I'm like, what are we going to put out there for our 10th anniversary? At least something that would be like a gift for us to give to the world. I remember when I go on platforms to speak, people would always ask me, how are you able to navigate your way as your mother, as a mother, as a wife, and all of that? And I said to myself, okay, Ifiok, I think we can monetize this knowledge. So I think first that was the why. I said, I think we can monetize this knowledge. Okay, so people come at me and they say, do you know how often I come to your page to copy your caption? Madam, better go and write a book.
Yes.
Better go and write a book. And I said, okay, I think we're going to look into it. So it was our 10th anniversary and I needed to gift that to my brand because I also believe that Africans are not telling their stories enough. It is said that he who tells the story controls the narrative. If you tell your story, trust me, nobody will control your narrative. And you will be the one who tells the story and you can control that narrative somewhat. So I needed to tell my brand story, having to build House of Borah in the city of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, having to do that as a wife of a politician, having to do that as a mother, having to do that as somebody I schooled in Unical, I served in Abuja. I was never a fan of Uyo. I used to think that Uyo was the end of the world. And I used to think that, I would tell my mother, I can never marry an Akwa Ibomite and all of that, but somehow life, brought me there and I was still trying to understand my part and all of that. So I wrote about even the judgment, most of the questions you ask. So I would recommend people to grab a copy. We still have a couple of them, So I talked about the struggle of having to build the brand. Now it started from where I grew up from. So from Abia State, I had the mindset already. So I knew I was going to succeed. So whether you liked me or not, if you was going to succeed. I wrote all of that there. And it's a 10-chapter book that tells the story of even when each chapter is supposed to chronicle our years in business.
Yeah.
However, I was able to tell the stories in a way that is highly intriguing. So there are lessons to learn, there are principles to gain and to get, and all of that. So it was just us coming together to give something to the world, to tell our story, to say, yes, we are able to do this from the city of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. We are able to conquer the world. We are able to go global from this city. So you too can become. And I'm happy that the book has actually inspired, motivated a lot of people to writing their book, to telling their stories, and more easier are yet to come.
Yeah. I know that you're not an author's coach, but I must say this, especially for people who are looking to write their books or go already with him. How did they say this shameless marketing here? My God. The way and manner at which you have been able to position, roll out, book tours across, not even Nigeria. I know that you did what
UK, Paris, Doha.
So what has been the experience first off? Handed, I think it was a little bit of sauce.
Zikra wants to take everything.
Please.
Hey, really was embarrassed about Feji. So Feji,
Get this book
out there.
So the what? I mean, that's such a good job.
Okay, so first off, the book of Matthew says that we are the light of the world. We are a city that is built on a hill that cannot be hidden. And that verse went ahead to say, let your light so shine, that men may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So that's my motivation. My light us. Because how are they going to say she's a child of God if she does not shine? So how come darkness is loud? How come negativity is loud? How come people who are hurting people are out there every day, making it look like it's justifiable? So if you happen to be somebody who exude light, sunshine, love, please be loud and loud about it. The world needs to know that love is a thing. The world needs to know that humanity is what we all have in common. So that was the inspiration. I said, okay, we are sending this message of light. We're taking it around the city, around the globe. So I called my team members and I said, have you caught the fire? Like if I were catching, yes. Have you caught the fire?
Yeah.
And I'm happy they were able to catch the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So we started off in Calabar. We went to Calabar to test the waters.
Mm.
And Calabar received us well. And I said, okay, I think this is a thing. Now it was just us saying, okay, it's time for the world to tell their stories. It's time for people to break out from that place of fear, to tell who they are. As long as you know you're a good person, as long as you know you're doing something right, it's time for the world to know that. Then from Calabar we said, okay, I think we can try Abao. So we came back from a blind audition. Yes, I went to Abba. Abba was so fun. Even Abba, they came, one person will come and say, I'm taking three books for 500,000. I'm like, okay, so we can actually combine this message of lights and actually make money.
Yes, what do you mean?
Yes. That was how we now said, okay, let's do Port Harcourt. Then from Port Harcourt, we went to Lagos. From Lagos, we went to Abuja. From Abuja, we now said, okay, it's time to go out of the country. So that's my sister was actually missing the whole tour. She kept saying, Big sis, I'm missing the tour. Come to the UK. And I said, okay, I was coming. And I told her and I arrived there. And it was fun. From then we went to the Doha Women's Conference. And from there we went to Paris and we're planning to go to the US also.
Amazing.
So we won't stop.
Please let me be your book. Please. Now you need that person to follow you on all your tours. So this kid.
So the issue is we won't stop as long as we're doing something right, as long as we're doing the good things, as long as we're not hurting anybody doing good. So don't feel bad, okay? So as long as you're not hurting anybody doing good, just keep doing good, keep being light. The Bible instructs it, and that verse does not sound like a verse that wants you to hide. It doesn't want us to chicken out. It doesn't want us to be timid. It wants us to be bold and loud and stand like a city that is built on a hill that cannot be hidden. So don't hide.
Absolutely. Because of time, I still have some questions. We're also going to be talking about your future plans and what you're currently doing, because I know that you're a woman out of multiple hats. You're doing a lot. We're going to come into that. But because in your book, you mentioned some challenges that the House of Borah brand had to go through, as with every business owner, which that's why I'm encouraging every entrepreneur here. And even these personal brands or career professionals to get this book, I think it can be gotten on Movie Tires, yes. Or just going to our website to check it out, or on Instagram at Ifiok Akan, or just type the House of Borah as well to connect with that. I highly recommend. I highly. This is not a paid ad. It's not. So just take it from me. This is my own copy. So I've read it and I recommend. Now, for business owners, because I know that there are ups and downs, and there are people listening to you here who are entrepreneurs who are probably going through something in their life, right? What are some of the strategies that you think that you've intentionally or unintentionally looking back at it now that you were able to do to grow your brand 12, 11 plus solid years and be from Uyo to global? How were you able to do that? What are the things the step by step you took, to get you to where you are right now?
Okay, so first, you need to study your craft. For anything you do, make sure you know it very well. Study, especially if you're in the fashion industry. If you want to be a designer, and understand that there are stylists, there are people who are the back end who are like the tailors, there are the pattern drafters and all of that. Structure your business well. Because when you structure what you do, somehow it will be on auto drive. That way you can now give your life, give your part of yourself to something that you also love to do. Like I said, believe in yourself also. When you believe in yourself, is the number one fuel that takes you to the next level. Is the number one fuel that makes you to understand that you're not backing down, that you're not like leaving this scene anytime soon. So like I said, once your business is well structured, because that is what has helped me, putting together those principles, like I also recommend you grabbing a copy of my book. You need to get the book because the book will give you all the steps I have used, all the principles I've put in place, all the strategies I've also been able to put in place to making my brand what my brand is today is there on the book, and it will help you navigate your way through. And another thing again is there are lots of people who are sincerely not supposed to even open a business just yet. Partner with somebody, or just take time to grow. Give yourself time. There are lots of mushroom businesses all over the place. People are suffering and struggling. You go to in the fashion industry, you see somebody, everybody wants to kill you because you're the tailor, you're the designer, you're the pattern drafter, you're everything to your brand. You're having back pain. You're crying every day. You know you're not happy. So who says you cannot partner with your friend who is also a designer? So 2 or 3 of you can do something that is sustainable. So take time to learn and be grounded and be sure that it is time for you to, it is time for you to step out and become more. If you go abroad, you see that there are lots of brands that are collaborating to do big things. Even the Chanel, there are lots of brands that are parts of the brand, to make sure that this stands as a solid brand. So this is me also encouraging you to don't burn out trying to want to be brand this and brand that. Learn it well and do it well.
Absolutely. Thank you. So let's just move on to now. What are you currently on to? What are some of the things that you're doing now, the projects?
Okay, so for now, sometime last year, I had told myself that this year I would want to open my mind more for partnership and collaboration, and I would just love to do more because I believe that God has given us so much, and a lot of times we don't even get to explore and harness those potentials and all of that. So I said in 2025, if you're that's why I'm even sitting here. You've been on me for a while, so yes, I said to myself that this year I will open myself more to doing greater things. And so sometimes it was a conversation. I stumbled on a conversation in Lagos, and the Igbo in me somehow I heard people talking about $1 billion, $1 million company. This is da. So I was a bit curious. Yes, please. So when the Igbo in me says, "What are they even talking about?" So I had to follow through the conversation. To cut the long story short, sometime last month they had reached out to me to say, "If you're so that $1 billion that you heard us saying you were curious about. We are in the country, so are you willing and ready to jump on a flight to come see what this is about?" I said, "Okay, let's try this out." So I hopped on a flight. I jumped on a flight and I got to Lagos and I sat with the Chinese people and everything they were saying made sense. I had to do my due diligence. I had to make phone calls. I needed to be sure that whatever they were talking about was actually a legitimate business and is a legitimate business or whatever it is. So when I saw that the business was well structured, the business model was interesting, I said, "Okay, it's something to give. Let me just try." And being also that is an industry that has a lot of name. That industry is an industry. The industry I'm going, I don't know if I want to mention the industry. However, I will try to. It's an industry that people always, stereotype. People have this bad perception about the industry, perhaps for the people who have actually been in the industry and the mess they made in the industry. Yes, because you cannot take that away. But I think we are here now to change that narrative because you cannot have that kind of industry that has so much money, potential to making a lot of people millionaires, and they throw it away. So this is me saying, you see, that's thing that you used to hear before. We are now here to change that narrative.
So what was the industry? See, me, I don't like to gatekeep here. Even as much as possible, the guests know that every information we share here, at the end of the day, the decision is on them. We are not liable to. As yes, obviously they disclaimer here, but as much as possible, I'm not somewhere that gatekeeps and say, "Oh, you must not talk about this or do blah blah blah." So yeah, I want you to talk about what is our industry. Tell us.
Okay, so the industry is the multi-level marketing industry.
She's MMM.
Yeah, it's not MMM.
Okay.
MMM is Ponzi.
Oh,
And this one is now. This one is the network market.
let me tell you. Network, I've lost money in network marketing. Jesus. So you're going to come and tell us what are the myths of network marketing?
Okay, so the myth is people thinking that is bringing maybe pyramid, bring one to get one, or bring two to get two, or whatever. But that's not what it is. That's not what it is. Network marketing is. I've not been in the industry before, so sitting here, sitting and I should be talking about fashion. However, as you're growing, you get to understand that there are different things and ways you can do so much and help people and help them to also become more. Because even if you don't want to do it for yourself, there are people who come to you to look for 1,000, sometimes 100,000, and they prefer to beg instead of working. So what I usually will ask people is, how on earth will you be broke and you're still proud? Like you don't have money, but you can't break out from that place of fear to do more, to see, even if I
Tricks and try. I mean,
what happened to the lepers in the Bible? They sat in a particular gate it's a particular place for a long time, and they said, "We're already filthy. We're already almost about to die. But if we take a bold step to say, okay, there's salvation is happening somewhere. Let's just try to see what will happen." So it was just that trying that the Bible recorded that the Holy Spirit is made each of their foot or each of their steps to sound like thunders. You get so sometimes when you're broke or when you're down there, it may not be us. Break out from that place of fear to know that there is more you can achieve. So that's why I talk about the industry. Just multi-level, yes, multi-level marketing is I love it now. I never used to. I was also like you, but when you open your mind to see that there are possibilities and people are making so much money,
and
there
it's genuinely
and it's legal, legitimate business. So when it is something that is legitimate, I will talk about, like I was saying, when they called me and said, "Come on board the platform," and I saw that it was legitimate because I had told myself that I have this huge social capital. I don't want to mislead people. I don't want to be known for sadness. I want when you remember my name, let it be that, "Oh, you remember my name with joy. Oh, she did something good to me. She made me to be on board a good platform and all of that." So when I saw that everything was okay, I said, why not? If you can take a leap of faith. And the leap of faith is making so much sense now. And I'm happy that even people like you and a lot of people are on board and they have seen the possibilities that this platform has. And it's a company that came to break all the multi-level marketing code. They made the compensation plan so seamless. They made the platform so easy for you to thrive.
How do we get more details about this?
Send me a DM.
He send me a DM.
Just send a DM or send me a DM. Yeah. She is in the business. She understands the business. Not year before.
Do but you wish come and push me to fully you.
I welcome you to come in. Let's do more. There's so much we can do. And we're also here to change the narrative about the industry to make it better. A lot of people used to lie a lot about it. So but we are here to tell the truth. When people say to you, don't work, don't do anything, you ask yourself, is one house where I work? I work to my smart. You must work, but there's something called the smart work. There's something called working with a team, with a group of people who are willing to hold your hand to see you grow and become more. So I invite you to come and the journey with us. We invite you.
Okay, great, amazing. Because of time, we just like to give final words. Well, there's something very important because you're into fashion and we see a lot of body positivity.
Yeah.
And because of that, people, what do you think about modesty? As raw as you can be. And then actually there are lots of trending things now, the corset thing where you go to wedding and everything is out. Not even the choky parts. Because you're choky for yourself. That's your business. But everything is out there. And then the next thing people say is body positivity, body love. And you are into fashion, you're a brand lady yourself. What do you think about that?
Okay, so I tell people that sincerely what really works for you. Because if you even want to go deep, down into the root cause of this whole thing, Jesus Christ did not even come for people like you and I or the good ones. I came for the bad ones and perhaps the ones who would need grace and all of that. So sometimes it's good for you to caution them with love. But I believe that you dress the way you want to be addressed.
Yes.
So for anybody who has, if you've gone through my page as the armed with, there's something I know I've been intentional about. Is about the way people perceive me, is the way I appear and the way I look. So because a lot of people come to, I'm following you because I love the way you're always covered up. I'm someone who likes to be free. I love to wear skimpy things if I want to be myself. Especially when I'm going out for a date. You can't be expecting me as a young married woman. You want to be going out for a date with my husband and I'm going down this way and because I'm trying to do that. So I also love to tell people, yes, body positivity is a thing. Allow people to be themselves. However, let there be moderations. Moderations, knowing when and how. You cannot tell a woman that is going to swim to tie back buba now. That's unfair. So you can also tell a woman that is going to church, or you cannot encourage a woman that is going to church to be showing her dress and dress anyhow. Please, that is the house of the Lord. If you don't want to go, at least stay in your house. So there are places you're supposed to wear different things. There are places, like I said previously, there are different style preferences that people can choose to become. There are people who are tomboys who like to wear, tomboy outfit. There are people who like the classic wear. There are people who like who like to also be very versatile. But I just like to be myself. Whatever I'm comfortable in, that's what you will see me wear. If everybody can be thinking she will come out looking, and I will come out looking like the most simple person, and you're like, what happened? If you're giving out a specific, say because you're not me. I love to say no one is you, and that's your power. So once you know that, you thrive in that and just become more. But I highly recommend decency. I recommend modesty. I would love to see my children grow up to not, do things that will always put them, there, put them on put them in harm's way or put them in a place where they are being judged. Because sometimes this thing may not really be what they see, what they are. I love to keep an open mind. You never know why somebody's wearing what they're wearing. Perhaps they're even on some kind of colors or whatever. Perhaps they are going through some kind of times in their life. Perhaps there's something telling them, maybe one demonic spirit telling them, you have to do this, open your legs, show your this. So we follow them from a place of love. We guide and we caution from a place of love. Because I am not you. I didn't buy those for you. I am also not your mother. Yes, we can try to do our best, but moderation and just trying to do the right thing as much as you can at the right time.
Absolutely. And we've come to the end of this. I would like you just already. That's, I wish we could keep going and having this conversation. But I want you to give final words in two parts. The first part is to women, young ladies, celebration of the International Women's Day as well. Any final words to them? And then also to business owners and entrepreneurs, final words to them as well.
Okay, so for every woman, I would love to say that first, you have to love your humanhood. You have to believe in yourself enough to know that is the woman next to you will want to thrive or want to become more based on who you portray to her. So just be as real as possible. I also love to say that no one connects with perfect. Everyone connects with real. Be yourself. Be yourself. Where you're yourself, it's easy for another woman to be open to you. It's easy for them to be themselves around you, and it's easy for them to also become more. Just always look out for the bright side of life. It's not always difficult. Life is beautiful. Just live easy.
Absolutely.
That's for the women. Then for business owners, please, like I said, study and study and study to show yourself approved. Your friends and your friends and your relations or whatever will try to patronize you sometimes, but what keeps them coming back is value. So even if you don't know it, it's okay for you to allow your business to wait for some time. Go back and study. Go and learn more. Learn new skill. Then relaunch. Don't be on anybody's timeline. One thing I've learned to do is to never be on anybody's timeline. If you think House of Borah is supposed to be in Dubai now, and House of Borah is not there, and that is what you're thinking. Do you know God's will for House of Borah? Do you even know what is going on around House of Borah? Do you get? So just be yourself. Like I said, give your best to your craft. Believe in yourself. Take your time. One step at a time is key. There are lots of business people there who are burnt out. If they tell you what they are going through, I just give them, sometimes it gives people 5 to 10, 15 years. You find out that a lot of them are tired and that they are worn out. So structure your business, delegate, allow people around you to, give their best to what you're also doing, and trust that greatness abounds.
Absolutely. It's been such a great time having this conversation with you. And I want to say thank you. I love you. I do value and honor you. And thank you for the gift that you are. So until next time, please follow her on her social media handle at Ifiok Akan, House of Borah. And of course, follow me at Victoria, the Victoria Undu, and Voices with Victoria. Don't forget, it's something we do. Like, share. Let's do it. Like, share, and subscribe.
Okay,
Like, share, and subscribe to Voices with Victoria at Victoria Undo. Until next time, to have a fantastic, wonderful experience. Bye for now.